So it's always harder to do that opposite. So maybe it's like a stupidity thing, and to give people courage to go against the thing that maybe we should go against more often, to challenge thought, to have more critical thinking.
Sounds lame.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another phenomenal episode of The Careful Boys. Today we have Mr. Michael Lay in the building. We're all gonna put on our do-gooder thinking hats, all right?
What's a do-gooder?
You know, the guys that do good, that's why it's called do-gooder.
A good Samaritan?
Be a nice guy.
You want me to explain it more deeply?
Yeah, explain Good Samaritan.
Okay, it's, you remember The Samaritan? He's Sylvester Stallone, it's a new movie.
The Good Samaritan?
Yeah, you missed it, huh? Okay, here we go. It's a good airplane movie. All right, if you had the power to completely solve one social or political issue affecting the world today, what would it be?
It's not global warming, I'll tell you that.
Is that social and political?
You're talking about magical, right? Like that, and then it's fixed?
That's power.
Stupidity.
Oh.
I think that's our biggest problem. We fucking stupid.
Yeah. Stupidity.
I don't know if that's like a sanctioned social and political issue, but I like that. Keep going.
Oh, you're talking more like build the wall.
Sure.
And I slip on my finger, I build the wall. Or like, it's like I slap on my finger, and then no more hungry children.
Sure.
Or whatever is like right now, I think like political topics be like.
But you can only choose one.
There's like the transgender stuff. There's like the what's the other one? There's like the immigration stuff.
Yeah, maybe to be a really effective group, we should like list them out so we know what's on the table,
Yeah.
and then from there we can choose.
Okay.
There's
Stupidity is very broad, but very good.
Yeah.
Very good, but
What's
very
the
broad.
what's the thing where like the government has too much power? Is that a thing?
Yeah. There's when the
Like
government,
fuck the man?
when government has too much power.
Yeah.
It's usually called communism, but
Yeah.
Usually.
there's that. Or like the hot topics right now, I would say it's probably the whole Trump indictment thingy. There's that.
What about taxes? Anything financial?
Anything financial.
What about
taxes.
human trafficking?
I was about to say that,
That's
man.
big.
Yeah.
I'm like, we could be stupid, just don't fuck kids.
Well, it's not even just kids.
Yeah, not just kids, right?
Yeah.
Just like human trafficking in general.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So there's that.
But is that even an issue where there's an opposing group that's saying, no, we should keep human trafficking?
That's true.
But they're not doing it. And then from what I understand, so there's a couple things. One, it's in the black market industry, it's drugs, and then human trafficking.
Yeah, I heard this like it's like $1 billion industry.
$1 billion industry, and there are people that believe the people in power are actually like pedophiles and shit. And so like a lot of the content that we're getting now, aka from like Disney or whatever, it's just a giant brainwashing. Even the whole like gender reaffirmment for kids. Let them choose their sexuality when they're 5 or whatever. Like they think this is a giant movement, and it is the actual like pro kid.
So it's like, because if the leaders are all in cahoots, then it's
Yeah.
like maybe they'll get off the hook if society sees
it's
this okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you even change the term, right? It's not pedophile. It's, what is it, like minor attracted persons.
I like that better.
Like it's just the whole giant like rebranding campaign. It's fucking crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
That's good. You got to rebrand it, man, because
I
it's
think-
like such a stain on someone's
It's not-
reputation.
I don't think it's a hot button political issue.
That's true.
I think it's more like everybody doesn't like it. Yeah, and then we're like, how do we solve it? How it's kind of like world hunger. Everybody doesn't like world hunger. How do we solve it? It's different from like I think a political issue is probably like a religious group wants to do it this way, an atheist group wants to do it this way. What's the right way to work it out, like abortion or whatever? Yeah.
I do feel like with the whole like that situation, I feel like it has to do with like maybe greed if that was like a thing, because I feel like right now we're at a thing where poor people are getting poorer and rich people are getting richer, and it's like that gap is just getting like right now like anyone that's working a 9 to 5 can't even get a house compared to like
Yeah. I think the root of it is money.
yeah.
But how do you solve a problem? Because like human trafficking, all those divisions are doing what they do because of the amount of money that they get. There's even subdivisions of like the reason why people are being human trafficked is because they end up like killing them and selling their organs. And then that's a whole nother thing too. So like finding some sort of way to level the playing field when it comes to financials, I don't know what the answer would be.
But that's why I was saying the cure, what I would like to cure is stupidity, because the leaders, they make it seem like it's a two-front choice thing, right? Like, what do you want? Do you want to be on the left or do you want to be on the right? And you think of these left ideals, right ideals,
And you think you're the good guy.
by choosing the right one, whichever one that is. But ultimately, it's people are people, and the people that are in the left and right, they're just pitching you whatever they think is good so they can make more money.
Right. To fit
Right?
that narrative.
So, like, let's say if Gavin Newsom is saying by 2030, all cars are gonna be electric, there's gonna be zero pollution. Everyone's like, yay! Who knows who he's getting paid off by in the, motor vehicles industry to make him say that. So ultimately, it is a money thing, like you're saying. But
It all goes down
all
to
goes
it.
back.
yeah, but if we're too stupid to see that, and we're like, dude, Gavin Newsom cares about the environment so much.
But would curing stupidity lead to an actual answer of solving something as grand as a greed or financial statement on the grand scope of society? Because then it just goes into like structures of like capitalism, socialism,
Yeah, that I don't
communism, and then
know,
you're
but-
like, what's the answer?
But what
to
I
that?
would try to prevent is like bee swarming mob mentality. Because I think when you're stupid, it's easy to get fired up over shit.
You're easily manipulated.
Yeah.
People just start tearing statues down and shit. Before, like, there's no one going, wait, let's just chill for like 24 hours. It's like you just hear someone, you're like, what the fuck you just say? Yeah.
So you're putting like the power back into the people's hands because they're smart enough to make decisions.
Yeah, have a couple people go like, yo, bro.
Without having like a vast majority of the society just move as that type
As a
of-
giant swarm. Like, everyone just chill out.
I feel like social media right now is very bandwagony. Like even when you go to TikTok, right? When you watch a video, you don't just watch and you usually go to the comment section and you look at the top comments just to see if
What's the sentiment?
what's the if you're validated or not, or if you don't have anything, you kind of follow what the top comments.
Nobody wants to go against the grain. Everybody wants to feel like they're saying or doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so it's always harder to do that opposite. So maybe it's like a stupidity thing, and to give people courage to go against the thing that maybe we should go against more often, to challenge thought, to have more critical thinking.
Sounds lame.
It does. Always the good answers sound lame.
I don't think there's an answer for
I don't know what.
Hey, but hey, in this prompt we have, let's say we all have collectively one Thanos snap to solve a thing.
Oh, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say like you do the Thanos snap. You just fucking half the population, dude. And if I
Kill
go,
half?
If I go, dude, I'm out.
For real, you think we're too populated? You think that's the reason?
No, probably not. That's probably not it. But it's more fun to say that. Is it not more fun to say that?
We're on our way for a population decline. We don't even need to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
We're having less babies.
Yeah, low birth rate. There's already a graph showing the trajectory of the world population dropping. We peaked.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I would snap
We
away?
peaked. It's over, dude.
Because I don't even understand this shit, but I know what happens. It's fucking inflation.
It's bad right
Like, it'd be cool if they go like this and there's like, this was like, I get the point, like, okay, this used to cost like $500. 20 years later, it's like $750. But I'm like, but if we all, like, that doesn't happen to my Monopoly box when I play. I don't take out a Monopoly box from 20 years ago and go, $1,000, worthless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this collective money economy thing, how does it keep going fucking like this?
According to like financial analysts and stuff like that sounds boring already.
Lame, huh?
The idea, or like, I'm locked in. Like the reason why we fucking give billions and billions and billions of dollars to like Ukraine and stuff is to fight inflation on our own soil. Because the idea, because we're the current world reserve currency, right? That means the Federal Reserve is constantly printing money. If we constantly print money and we're using it in our own ecosystem, that's where inflation flies. So the point is to constantly print money still and give it away to other ecosystems so the value of the dollar is still useful. So if you give it outside, if you give it to like Ukraine in these moments,
Oh, that makes sense.
and the money becomes more valuable and useful, so it fights inflation here. So that's why no matter how many people are like, why are you giving money over there? And I'm not saying I agree with that.
Why don't they explain it that way?
Yeah. I'd never heard anyone explain it that way until you.
Y'all heard of the
I
Great
appreciate
Reset?
that.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to
I feel like that's gonna happen.
to hear it from the decision maker.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I'm doing this.
Because the narrative doesn't fit as well. Because they're not going to be like, hey, we're only giving this to Ukraine because we care about ourselves. No,
But our American government does think Americans are fucking idiots anyway. So
they do, and we are idiots.
Anyway, yeah, well, yeah.
To a degree, absolutely.
But it goes back to the mob mentality side of like, what is public sentiment going to be when I tell people why we're doing this for this reason? Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? Everyone's going to be pissed, and then it's going to cause more issues, I guess. But I think that's just their habit of being like, let's just tell them this instead. It's a better marketing ideal campaign to say that we're helping Ukraine.
I mean, either way, we're already on like a ticking time bomb because the de-dollarization of the world is already happening. And the thing is, it might not fully affect us during our generation and stuff like that, but it's for sure happening. Like the dollar's being taken off the world currency. BRICS is expanding. They've already got 6 nations, and they're adding 6 nations next year. You know what I mean? So
I think in 5 years we're not even gonna have. Things are gonna be so different.
What if instead of dumping billions into Ukraine, because you're also paying for more people to die, what if they bought more Bitcoin? Is there another way to
American
get rid of the money?
Bitcoin?
Yeah.
I think crypto is gonna come up.
I think crypto will always work in some way. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day,
There was one proposition I thought that was pretty cool. So this congressman came out with a bill saying that people in Congress or like in office right now, they can't own stock and their partners can't either or trade because like, you know, there's insider trading going on. And another one is they can't work in the private sector after they run after they work, because that's literally how like Western corruption works. Western political corruptions, like third world countries, there's outright corruption in the form of like kickbacks and bribery, right? Whereas the legal way we do it in America is you become a politician, you get into a high position, you hook up the companies that sponsor you. So they're gonna sponsor your campaign for whatever industry, different sectors. When you leave office, let's say you write a book, you do a book tour, right? And then you get paid like $500,000, whatever, every single time you go to these events, and then you become an executive on their board, a consultant. So it's like how Obama got hooked up with Netflix. Afterwards, you know, he did remember the SOPA or the whole BIPA and then the whole like internet, it was like internet, there was a word for it. It was like censorship or something vague, but it was really to help these companies out. And it happens for every presidency, every office, like whether every decision-making department, right? Like you hook up your groups, and then when you're done, then you get, when you retire is when you make the real money.
That's like the guys that work at Pfizer and they switch over to the FDA.
Exactly. And then it's not like,
or vice versa.
it's not like they hide it. Like you see like the Department of Health, and then, you know, 5 years later, they're all on the board of Pfizer. And then it's just clear, it's just people don't research it, right? So I think that's
because they just keep it
open
up.
corruption, because they don't care about human beings. They care about like, okay, I'm gonna hook these people up.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, I'm gonna get paid 8 million, 10 million, whatever.
That's the under the nose shit, right?
So what, you would just Thanos snap the under the nose shit?
I would Thanos snap the ability for politicians to work and like, so for me, I'm like, you gotta create rules to where they work in the people's favor, not in the company's favor.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not gonna regulate themselves. Like if we're all benefiting and we're all like working, like let's say we're all working for the city of LA, and then you're the fire department, I'm the police department, we're all gonna vote and say, hey, you know what? I think it'll be good if we all retire with $500,000. Doesn't that sound great? And everyone's like, yeah, we should do that, right? We're all gonna back each other up, and then whether they deserve it or not, I don't know, you know. But at the same time, you can't regulators aren't gonna regulate themselves.
Yeah.
So
There's no incentive to do
No.
that. Yeah.
Why would they?
Why would they?
I like what Warren Buffett said, because he said like, he's like, I could solve like Congress, whatever, corruption, or Senate corruption.
So basically, he was trying to figure out how we can solve the deficit.
Yeah.
So we're in mad debt. Everyone knows that, in trillions of dollars of debt, right?
Yeah.
And then so they're asking Warren Buffett, like, how do we get out of this debt? Because you're a finance guy and you're a stock guy and you're really good at investments and saving. And he goes, we won't be in a deficit if we make them spend less than 3% of the GDP. So that's their budget. There's actually budget. So like So what that means is like, there's the GDP, like how much the country can make every year and all that, and it's like if you spend more than the country kind of like economy, it's like a path to failure. So he goes, Congress cannot spend over 3% of the GDP. If they do, then they all get fired and they can't get reelected.
But he says that's pretty much like the same way all CEOs get.
Yeah, that's how business.
Basic
So, yeah,
budgeting.
But the way America runs is every single time we get to 2.9%, they go, all right, we need to make a vote to spend more.
Yeah.
And have
Every CEO, it's like,
Yeah.
you have to hit these numbers with this amount of spending, and then now that's where your CEO
Make it happen.
creativity really comes into play. But we don't do that for these guys. I have an initiative, but that means we need to have another $5 million, and we keep adding to it.
Yeah.
Bro, government is the only place where you can fuck up and be a horrible worker, but you're still on the
fine.
job.
Yeah.
Like for example, like in Hawaii, they spent $12 billion for a track, like a train track that no one uses. It took 10 years over like the deadline. No one from that project got fired. Like there's, or like the fire like happened in Maui, like no one's getting in trouble for how they fucked up. Everyone's just blaming each other. And I feel like that's the issue, is there's no limit. Like they can fuck up multiple times and they're not in trouble for anything or getting fired.
Yeah, I heard about the Maui fires that it was planned
There's a laser.
because the land is valuable and they weren't giving.
They're trying to get it, yeah.
Yes, and there was a lot of like TikTok videos of like inside residents.
I think racism should be legalized, though.
Speak your truth, Bart.
Because even in the same race, you're still racist.
I agree.
Like if you go to the commercials in Asia, they literally laugh at like the darker skinned Asians. Everyone wants to be lighter
that's us.
skin. Across the board, Indian,
Legalize
Hispanic.
racism.
Yeah, like
Legalize it or just end it?
just
Just legalize it.
No, he's like, legalize it so that we can tax it.
Yeah.
Monetary
just
benefit if you are
accept
racist.
it so that it's not an issue and make it part of everyday life.
You can use derogatory terms, but you have to pay for it. So if you like subscribe to a premium membership, you can fucking
like a
cuss
swear
everybody
jar.
out.
Yeah.
It's a legal swear jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's how we fix our debt.
That'd be a good way. All of this stuff still has to deal with money though. So like you remember the end of Fight Club? You remember how the concept of the theory was like they blow up all the fucking credit unions and buildings and stuff like that, and then everybody gets like digitally reset to zero in order to save the world?
Yeah.
Do you think that works? Like if we were to like
I don't know,
Thanos snap and
because-
delete all currency ever.
If you guys think about,
not good. No.
Okay, in human history, it sounds like things are going crazy right now, but this is the most peaceful it's ever been. This is the most fed everyone has ever been. This is like,
Dude, this is living.
It's a lot of progress, right? So a lot of people, I think, look at it now and go, "Oh, fuck capitalism." But I actually think capitalism is the best, but it's not the. It's not. I don't think-
Morally ideal.
It has faults, but
It does.
it's definitely
but
better than.
it's like, yeah, but what do you want to do? Go back to the medieval system with feudalism and kings and queens and serfs and slaves? Like, what's the best system? Communism is still relies on capitalism. It still relies on economics through the coin. So I was watching these like guys that all they do is try to create future concepts from like living styles to everything, and then they're talking about trying to shape it into a resource-based economy, not really like a coin economy.
Like a barter system.
Barters, right?
Not barter, but it's more like, okay, so the capitalistic value system is create a good product or service, and then you exchange it for coins, right? And then your value is what you produce into the world. If you do it the basic way, that's the way you do it. Like we create entertainment. Someone values that entertainment, so they'll trade it for money. But then like goods and services are created for like money, right? So this whole new concept will be things will be produced, but not for the sake of money. It'll be it has to be for a different motive. But it's difficult because like one, the negative parts of capitalism would be like waste. Because you're creating you're using resources and doing all this stuff for like random knickknacks that you might not need.
So like if everybody were like piggyback off of Anthony, if everybody were to go to zero, right? Everybody's restart. I feel like that might present more problems than solutions because
100%.
people don't have value to give to each other.
Yeah.
And then it goes into war.
It'll take
Yeah.
some time before people are in a position to give value and to receive.
But is that because there's just too many people, and that goes to the question of depopulation?
That's why we gotta get rid of them.
Once we depopulate the place, then everybody has a purpose because there's only one baker, one banker, one sheriff, one, you know.
I feel like they'll definitely go into war. Everybody's going to be in fight or flight mode for a while before a system gets established again.
If it resets, it's just gonna go through what the humans did previously, which is like hunter-gatherer, farming,
Oregon Trail is pretty high.
Oregon Trail's lit.
feudalism. It's just gonna go through the same stages. I don't know. I think it's the best that we have now, but I wouldn't even know how to shift the whole world to a different way of thinking.
I think it works very well because I think we all need some heat on our back. Like we all need some competition. We need something to push us move.
But I feel like right now, like everyone goes to school, and in the schooling system, like it sets you up to be like just like a factory worker.
It's old school. You're right.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause
I don't.
The reason why school was invented was because that was how most people worked.
Yeah.
It just needs update because back then there was no internet. Everybody was a factory worker. Whether you worked in massive plantations where you're picking pineapples and whatever, or you're canning them, or like you're in a paper mill, or like, you know, it's like everything is these big factory jobs and you move up the ranks, right?
Yeah.
It's either that or you have a family farm or a small business.
But
You
I
have a
don't
family
even think
restaurant or
that's
whatever.
bad. I think it's just the bad is like if you're gonna do that, at least be able to like have that money be like you can have a livable life. Like I feel like right now, like everyone wants to do social media. Everyone wants to be on the internet because like if they go to college, they go to debt and then they get a job and it's like you can't live life.
Okay, so no debt, free schooling, and free healthcare.
Oh, so like Scandinavia.
Yep, great.
That's what it is. Everybody listen to Scandinavia.
Also seem boring though.
No stupid people.